you.
LocoCycle features a talking, battling motorcycle named Iris that drags a mechanic behind her by the pant leg. Iris's nemesis is a mean, gruff-talking motorbike that takes a moment to somehow munch on a giant hamburger in a roadside diner. Iris throws around Pablo the mechanic as if he's a battle-ready boomerang, all in the name of attending a festival she saw advertised in a biker magazine. Iris's mecca is Scottsburg, Indiana. It's there where she belongs.
Interesting.
Who could have imagined that a game featuring so much ridiculousness could be boring? Well, it's not all boring, though most of the fun comes not from the act of playing LocoCycle, but from watching it. Live-action cutscenes introduce you to Iris, Pablo, and a variety of other kooky characters, and lay out the events that lead to a two-wheeled battle machine dragging a Spanish-speaking mechanic down the open road. Especially during the first 30 minutes, I was frequently laughing out loud. Iris's translation functions are fried early on, so she constantly misinterprets Pablo's cries to be set free as encouragement, and she lets loose hysterical one-liners proving her single-minded focus.
Yes, Pablo, I agree. The speed limit should be raised in this part of the country.
When the evil motorcycle called Spike picked up his own human companion, I laughed even harder, and the strange situations that duo found itself in were great sources of chuckles.
This is ridiculous.
As for Iris and Pablo, Pablo's dialogue is all in Spanish, with subtitles splashed across the bottom of the screen, even during gameplay. At first, I was annoyed that I kept having to take my eyes off of the action so that I could read Pablo's dialogue. But in time, you realize that Pablo has absolutely nothing to add, and that you can safely overlook his repetitive pleas, just like Iris does. And truth be told, the game's biggest joke, having Iris pulling Pablo down highways and across rivers, is stretched thin by the time you reach the end after about 2 hours of play. Typically, you drive down the road as you might in a driving game, though there is no danger of crashing into the sides. The game just nudges you as an on-rails shooter would. You usually take down the vehicles and robots that hound you in one of two ways, either by shooting them from behind with your unspectacular guns, or mashing buttons in similarly unspectacular hand-to-hand combat. The hand-to-hand combat suffers from a major dose of shallowness. You just hammer on the same two buttons over and over, occasionally hitting another button to counter an attack. Melee battles are so easy that I don't think I missed an entire counter in the entire game, and racked up enormous combo scores without breaking a sweat. In fact, the whole idea of combo scores in this game is silly, given how aimless mashing makes you an instant LocoCycle expert. You earn points to unlock passive benefits, but I'd unlocked all of them before I even hit the final stage. There's an odd lack of challenge and thrills. LocoCycle does try to diversify, but most ideas wear out their welcome before they end. A side-view boss battle is a fun idea at first, but the same attacks are repeated over and over again, and the boss has so much health that it takes seemingly forever to bring it down. A top-down vertical shooting sequence is a nice change of pace for 2 waves, but there's nothing to it. By the time I hit the 3rd wave, I was bored. By the time I hit the 4th wave, I was actively annoyed. LocoCycle has no sense of when enough is enough. Luckily, LocoCycle comes into its own in its final 20 minutes. I don't want to give away too much of the final chapter, since you have to see it to believe it. Let's just say that LocoCycle takes on the guise of a pure rail shooter, filling the screen with explosions and big robots, and using live recorded footage in the background to keep you gawking. And even before that, the game finds its way to a faster tempo. The QuickTime events are accompanied by crazy scenes that remind me of 2009's Ninja Blade in all their dramatic insanity. There's also a joyous minigame that has Iris flinging Pablo forward and spinning through legions of oncoming agents riding hoverbikes and surfing missiles. I loved seeing LocoCycle through to its zany finale because I enjoyed the jokes and Iris's robotic line delivery, and because I loved seeing the characters get themselves into some silly situations. This would have been a great short comic film, but LocoCycle is a game, and the boring gameplay is an odd contrast to the energetic writing.
Look how playful, lively, full of fun, frolicsome, sportive they are. Doesn't it make you feel glad to be alive, Pablo?